Welcome to Kitchen 101, where you learn how to think like a chef, how to cook, not what to cook. Today we will go over 10 more mistakes new cooks make. So grab yourself a pen, paper, and a willingness to change, because I'm Professor Kitchen, and class is in session. I recently did a video where I went over another YouTuber's top 10 mistakes new cooks make. In that video, I promised you a collaboration between Anadi. In that video, I promised you a collaboration between Anadi from the Cooking with Anadi YouTube channel and myself. Well, today, I deliver on that promise. Both he and I are doing a 10 more mistakes new cooks make video. Now, here's the rub. I have no idea what his 10 more mistakes are, and he doesn't know mine. All either of us have done is not copied from the first 10. It's a bit of a mystery for us and you. Make sure you go over to his channel and watch his video after you get done with mine. I'm going to put a link in the description box and in the end screen if YouTube will let me. Let's get to my 10. Number 1, multitasking while cooking. We all have hectic lives, no doubt about that. But you need to leave that stuff outside the kitchen. You're trying to focus on cooking, not whatever else is going on. Put your cell phone in the other room, turn off the TV if you need to. Maybe put on some music you enjoy. Learning to cook can be stressful. Don't add to it. One of the quickest ways to mess up your dish is to get distracted and wander off. Stay in the kitchen and keep focused on what you're doing. Number 2, not doing all your prep work before you start. I have fallen into this trap so many times. You think to yourself, I don't want to take a few minutes to prep this. I'll do it while this other thing over here is cooking. No. Do all your prep beforehand. Have everything chopped and measured before you start. Get out all the cooking instruments you think you're going to need. Get out any hot pads you think will be necessary. Get a dish towel ready to wipe your hands on. All of this should be done before any food hits a pan. Number 3, not properly preheating the oven. Speaking of properly preparing things, make sure your oven is preheated before you start cooking. For most dishes, your oven needs to be ripping hot before you put any food into it. Make sure you turn on your oven in plenty of time to get it warm. If your oven has an alarm that sounds when it reaches temperature, don't believe it. Those alarms go off when air in the oven first reaches the set temperature. The metal in the oven is still much colder and will continue to suck the heat quickly out of the air. Give it a bit more time. Number 4, not setting a timer. Clocks are wonderful things, but not for cooking. As I mentioned in my first point, we have hectic lives and tend to get distracted. Don't think, I know how long 10 minutes is. No, you don't. Not unless you're a savant with a clock running second by second in your brain, you don't. You can't feel how much time passes. Don't risk your dinner. Use a timer. Number 5, relying too much on a timer. On the other end of the spectrum is relying too much on a timer. Just because a recipe says 30 minutes doesn't mean it's always 30 minutes. So many things can have an effect on the time it takes your dish to cook. The timer's job isn't to tell you when the food is done. The timer's job is to remind you to check and see if the food is done. Don't be afraid to set your timer a bit short in order to make sure it doesn't burn. And don't be afraid to add some time if the dish hasn't finished cooking yet. Number 6, not spending enough money on equipment. Buying cooking equipment can be hard on the budget. I get that. But don't be afraid to spend money on stuff you know you'll need and that will last you. For instance, a good kitchen knife is worth its hefty price, and a silicone spatula that won't melt into your food is a good investment on your health. Number 7, spending too much money on your equipment. Don't take my last point to mean that you need to spend big money on every piece of kitchen equipment you ever buy. Far from it. Many times high-end equipment is full of bells and whistles that you just don't need and will fall apart just as quickly as the cheaper stuff. My rule of thumb for buying new stuff is to get something cheap the first time to see if you'll actually use the piece of equipment. If so, when that one breaks, you'll have a better idea of what features you want on your next model. Buy what you need at the time. Don't underbuy, but never overbuy. Number 8, not learning your herbs and spices. Do you know the flavor difference between majoram and savory? How about between thyme and basil? Cayenne pepper and chili pepper? What was that little extra something in your dinner from that restaurant last night that made it so good? You'll never be able to build or modify your own recipes until you know how to properly flavor it. Start learning what herbs and spices taste like so that you will know how to build a dish with depths of flavor. Number 9, buying expensive ingredients. Most of us don't have unlimited grocery budgets. Don't think that every meal you fix has to be made with the most expensive foods. I love New York strip steak, but I'm not putting that on my fajitas. Prosciutto is good, but way too expensive to put on your burgers at your next cookout. Some of the best dishes in every culture come from throwaway ingredients that people of limited means figure out how to take to the next level. Number 10, having a go big or go home mentality. Some of the best foods are simple ones. Red beans and rice, spaghetti and meat sauce, corned beef hash, fried bologna sandwiches, burgers and mash, bangers and mash. What? Bangers and mash. Television chefs make you think that everything you cook has to look like someone in a tuxedo is serving you. Sometimes it is fun to go all out. Most of the time, we're just looking for a satisfying meal that's enjoyable to eat. Aim for that, and you'll never go wrong. That's my 10 more mistakes that new cooks make. I'm excited to see what Anadi has come up with. I'm putting a link in the description box and on the end screen here to his list. Go over and take a look. Thank you for coming to class today. Hope you have a great week. God bless. Class dismissed.